Dear neighbors, I am Celina Benitez and I proudly serve as your council member since 2017. I hope to earn your vote for mayor. During this time, I have accomplished much with your support, strongly advocating for the successful passage of the Blueprint for Maryland in Annapolis and supporting our local schools and its infrastructure. Founding the Mount Rainier Scholarship that has given over $15,000 to our students as we invest in higher education. Strengthening our economic development and city services, reducing taxes, and advocating for the completion of the audits. Founding the $1 million incentive fund to invest in our businesses. Leading the citywide census effort and ongoing pandemic response by distributing over 500,000 pounds of food, 52,000 face masks, and partnering with health clinics to bring resources at no cost to the city, and working alongside with very dedicated volunteers. Writing resolutions that reflect the inclusive and welcoming values of Mount Rainier. As mayor, I plan to continue strengthening my efforts in bringing the city into the 21st century. Implementing best practices, including green initiatives in the city's operation. Leading the efforts for reimagining public safety. Ensuring there is a participatory budget process, improving the accountability between the city and its residents, continue to create a welcoming and inclusive city for all of Mount Rainier residents, investing in a long-term strategic vision, and advocating for COVID-19 vaccine accessibility. We deserve a walkable, bikeable, green city, and that is what I want to deliver to you. As mayor, I will proudly continue to advocate and work for Mount Rainier. Together, we will overcome and thrive. To learn more about me and my campaign, please visit celinabenitez.com. I will see you May 3rd on the polls, or you could also request an absentee voting form. I'll be happy to deliver it to you. Together, we are stronger. May 3rd, vote Celina for mayor. Queridos vecinos, soy Celina Benitez y he servido con mucho orgullo como su concejal de Mount Rainier desde el 2017 y espero ganarme su voto como alcaldesa. Durante este tiempo he logrado mucho con su apoyo, abogando firmemente por la aprobación exitosa del Plan para Maryland y sus escuelas, The Blueprint, que garantiza la infraestructura de nuestras escuelas, apoyando también a nuestros estudiantes. Fui la fundadora de la beca estudiantil de Mount Rainier, que ha dado más de $15,000 a nuestros estudiantes, invirtiendo en la educación superior y sus sueños. Fortalecimiento de nuestro desarrollo económico y servicios municipales para nuestra comunidad. Fundadora del Fondo de Incentivos de $1 millón para los pequeños negocios. Lideré el esfuerzo del census para toda la ciudad para garantizar que fuéramos incluidos y la respuesta continua a la pandemia, distribuyendo más de 500,000 libras de alimentos, 52,000 mascarillas faciales, 30,000 almuerzos calientes y asociándome con clínicas de salud para traer recursos a la ciudad, todo esto gratuitamente y trabajando con voluntarios en estos esfuerzos. He escrito resoluciones que reflejan los valores inclusivos de Mount Rainier y su comunidad. Como alcalde, me comprometo a seguir fortaleciendo mis esfuerzos para llevar la ciudad al siglo XXI, incluyendo implementación de las mejores prácticas, incluyendo iniciativas verdes en operaciones de la ciudad, liderando los esfuerzos para reimaginar la seguridad pública, garantizando que haya un proceso de propuesto participatorio, mejorando la rendición de cuentas entre la ciudad y sus residentes. Seguir creando una ciudad acogedora e inclusiva en la que todos nos sentamos bienvenidas y parte, reduciendo nuestros impuestos invirtiendo una visión estratégica a largo plazo y abogando por la accesibilidad de las vacunas del COVID-19. Merecemos una ciudad transitable en la que podamos caminar, andar en bicicleta, una ciudad verde, una ciudad inclusiva, y eso es lo que les quiero entregar. Como su alcaldesa, con orgullo quiero seguir abogando y trabajando por la ciudad de Mount Rainier. Juntos venceremos y prosperaremos. Para obtener más información acerca de mí o mi campaña, por favor visite mi página web a celinabenitez.com, donde encontrará información en su lenguaje. Juntos somos más fuertes y por favor vayan el 3 de mayo a los centros de votación para asegurar que puedan ejercer su voto. Y si necesitan una aplicación para pedir que el voto les llegue por correo, por favor no dejen de contactarse y con gusto se las llevo. Juntos somos más fuertes y podremos mejorar la ciudad. Así que mayo 3 voten Celina por alcaldesa.
Dear friends and neighbors, I wanted to let you know of my candidacy for Mount Rainier's City Council Ward 2 seat. Although this election will not have another candidate running for Ward 2 on the ballot, I wanted to reach out, introduce myself, and make sure that anyone has the opportunity to engage with me and for me to hear your thoughts. Old and new residents alike know that Mount Rainier is a truly special place. I've owned a house in Mount Rainier since 2010, when I bought a house here in a community my family, immediate and extended, has visited and been a part of since the 1970s. Work and family took me away for a few years in 2015, but I wanted to come back. And in 2019, I came back to this community, which I love and I care about. It's truly a neighbor-oriented community where inclusivity and dialogue is critical and important. In previous years, I dedicated my time to a number of areas in Mount Rainier, from serving on the Mixed Use Town Center Committee, the MUTC Committee, focusing on economic development in the city's core, to serving on the board of directors for the Gateway Community Development Corporation, focusing on arts-based economic development in the Route 1 corridor. I also served on the city's green team, authoring the Mount Rainier Bicycle Plan pro bono in order to give the city opportunity to obtain state resources for a more walkable and bikeable city. I've been in public service or public interest work for my entire career, starting at the federal government level, as well as working in executive in local government and public transportation. I intend to bring that experience to provide experience in the direction of the city, as well as helping the city obtain more resources from the state and federal government at this really critical time in history. I have a particular passion for public transportation and clean energy. In my current role for an electric vehicle manufacturer, I've worked to deliver zero-emission transit buses and school buses to different communities across the United States, as well as the DC area, and including Prince George's County. I look forward to working with our new mayor and existing city council members and continuing Mount Rainier's positive trajectory of the last few years. Over the last decade, we've seen economic development on the Route 1 corridor, and development has been moving at a rapid pace. I'm focused on continuing that trajectory, as well as ensuring that positive and equitable economic development in the city engages all community members and ensures that all voices in the city are heard. I'm the child of immigrants and an Asian American. In light of the many incidents that have occurred against all people of color, including those most recently against the Asian community in Atlanta, Georgia, and the increase in attacks against the Asian community, I'm attuned to the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and ensuring that city policies and community actions work to erase inequity and support justice for all. I commit to represent all residents of Mount Rainier by engaging in your concerns and building an inclusive Mount Rainier for all of us. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I look forward to engaging with all of you at the upcoming candidate forums and as I reach out and walk among the neighborhoods in the city. Thank you so much for your time and look forward to seeing you.
Hey guys, Luke Chesick, Mount Rainier City Council. I represent Ward 1 and I'm trying to seek re-election to represent Ward 1 for another 4 years. I've told a lot of folks over the last few years that being on City Council is mostly an exercise in quality time management. What you get done is what you spend your time on. I learned a good lesson when I ran for office 4 years ago by having lunch with Brian Nedler, current City Council member. He served as mayor. He's just got a lot more experience in this role than I ever had. And he told me, Luke, sometimes when people become elected officials, they have 30 different priorities. But when 30 different things are important to you, nothing is. He told me to focus my attention on 2 to 3 things every year, and over the course of 4 years, you're going to see progress. And I really took that to heart. I took all the priorities that I had from my campaign 4 years ago that reflected what you told me were important when I was knocking on doors, and put them into 3 different buckets. Some were in the planning stages, like stormwater management, building an arts commission, redesigning Memorial Park in the 3300 block Rhode Island Avenue. Others were in the implementation phase, things I knew I could get done right away. Things like pushing through a complete overhaul of our trash and recycling system. Other things were in the execution phase, like selling 3200 Rhode Island Avenue to a developer who would build mixed-use development at Rhode Island and Eastern Avenue. Now, we got a lot done over the last 4 years, but this way of thinking, this way of prioritizing things over time, also served as the reason why I set up a strategic vision in August of 2019. And that strategic vision serves as the backbone of my campaign this go-round. And there are 3 broad themes to my strategic vision. Number 1, creating a vibrant downtown core. Think about when you are on a road trip. Think about the towns you stop in. Think about the places you want to hang out in. You hang out in them because they look cool. Their public spaces look nice. They've got a scene that you want to hang out in. And there's nothing that's stopping Mount Rainier from being just like that. Because let's face it, we're pretty cool. And we have a great opportunity to build a vibrant downtown core here along Rhode Island Avenue and 34th Street. And there are 3 core issues that I think will help us create a vibrant downtown core here. Number 1, execute on that redesign for the 3300 block of Rhode Island Avenue, including Memorial Park, to create a place where people can congregate at the vector of Rhode Island Avenue and 34th Street. Number 2, implement the 2010 mixed-use town center redesign of 34th Street. Instead of having sidewalks with concrete paths, have sidewalks that have street trees. Have a beautiful crosswalk at 34th and Bunker Hill that invites people and gives them the cue they need to hang out in Mount Rainier. Third, continue to invest in the Arts Commission legislation that I drafted 3 years ago. By investing in public art, you're going to create spaces that people want to be in. Second part of my strategic vision, investing in our diversity. We want to develop our downtown core, but we do not want that development to come at the expense of our diversity. That's why it's important that our Economic Incentive Fund invest equally in current businesses, many of which are owned by people of color, as in new businesses that want to set up shop in Mount Rainier. It's why we need to look at investments in things like community land trusts to make sure that low and middle income people can find housing in Mount Rainier. It's why we need to continue making investments in the community policing efforts we started 2 years ago and look at ways to fund alternative policing. Finally, a big part of my strategic vision is creating a sustainable Mount Rainier. Last year, I passed legislation creating a native plant network to encourage and educate residents on the importance of planting native. We need to execute on that legislation by helping to rewild as many of our yards as we can. We also need to keep implementing that stormwater master plan that I laid out 4 years ago so that we can continue to take our stormwater and filter it through our tree boxes as opposed to dumping them in our sewer drains. We also need to implement the city's bike master plan, which we'll start hopefully this year with our 2022 budget. Folks, making these investments is not easy. They don't just happen. But over the next 4 years, I'm going to spend my time making sure they do happen. Because these components of my vision reflect our values as a community. And if we're not spending our time on that, then what are we doing? Thank you.